Good morning, investors and traders. This is Naim Asam, Chief Market Analyst at AvaTrade, and in today's segment, we'll be covering Bitcoin's big news. So let's have a deeper discussion and see what those big news are really. Before we do that, as always, it is important for us to go through this disclaimer. Anything we should be discussed cannot be perceived as an advice. The full disclaimer is right in front of you. Now, as always, we will begin our analysis by looking at the daily time frame for Bitcoin price. And as you can see that the price is still very much staying above the 50-day simple moving average, which is an encouraging sign. However, the price hasn't reached the 60,000 price level, which is quite an important one for this particular price to really continue its journey towards this next price level, which I will mention briefly. But the most important thing that we've had last week it has come from Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, who has said that Bitcoin is more of it can be more compared more with gold than as a currency. So basically, the message is that look, Bitcoin is another digital form of gold, and if that is what Bitcoin is, then obviously we still have a plenty of room left for Bitcoin prices to move to the upside. And another major news that we've also heard in terms of a Bitcoin is that sovereign wealth funds are looking to buy Bitcoin. So that is something that we also got to keep an eye on. And speaking of the funds, we've also seen a major news, which is like, yes, a New Zealand-based pension fund also invested, millions in Bitcoin as well. So that again, just reaffirms that stance that how pension funds, institutions, and family offices are very much going after Bitcoin. Now, speaking of institutions, the SEC is really looking at number of different Bitcoin ETF applications once again, because the recent reports are that Goldman Sachs has also filed for a cryptocurrency tied ETF, and Fidelity also entered into the Bitcoin ETF race. So all of this is quite important in relation to Bitcoin, because remember, we have been waiting for Bitcoin ETF to come out for a very long time over in the United States, and I'm sure that the SEC must be sick and tired at this stage to look at these applications. Now, let's go back to Bitcoin price and then see what exactly is happening with respect to that. Now, one thing which becomes pretty much clear with respect to Bitcoin price is that the price has been able to stay above the 50-day simple moving average, which is in pink, and followed by that is your 100-day simple moving average, and finally your 200-day simple moving average. One area of concern, which we've talked about previously, is the divergence, and that divergence comes from the fact if we start looking at the price from here and where the price is now. Now, obviously, the price overall, if you measure from here to here, has been very much, trending in a sideway, with this exception of this bullish price action over here. But if we compare the same sort of price action with the RSI, we clearly see that there is a divergence, meaning the price has made a higher high, as I mentioned over here, in comparison to this, but the RSI hasn't confirmed that. But if the focus at the price action just from here to here, it becomes very clear that the price is trading in the direction of the RSI is trading in the direction of the price, so there is no negative divergence really there. Now, in terms of a pattern, I want to bring your attention to this bullish pattern which is forming, and then by that what I really mean is that head and shoulder, reverse head and shoulder pattern that we are seeing. So if this is your shoulder right over here, sort of over here, then your head is forming just right over here, and then your shoulder is sort of forming over here. So we have this complex sort of a reverse head and shoulder pattern forming. And this really means that prices are likely to really move to the upside. I know this particular head and shoulder pattern is not your traditional head and shoulder pattern, but nonetheless it is there, and then we cannot ignore. And another important factor that we also need to pay attention to is how the price could be trading in a upward channel if we join the highs of these particular price levels right over here and draw a parallel line at the bottom of this one by joining this low with this low, so it becomes clear that how that upward channel is trading, and that means that the prices are likely to move to the upside from here onwards, and that is something that we've got to really very much keep an eye on. So overall, what we really need to see is we want the Bitcoin price to break above the 60,000 price level, because only then we can see that the journey, each journey can start towards the realistic price target of 100,000. And the reason that I'm saying that is realistic is because of the enormous amount of demand that we are seeing from institutional side in terms of ETFs, in terms of a major players coming into it, and also how sovereign wealth funds are also looking to invest in it. So we'll continue to monitor the price action as we go forward, but have a very quickly, if we go into a smaller time frame such as a 4 hour time frame, what we really want the price is to stay above the 50-day simple moving average, because it seems like that this weakness, it can really push the prices to the downside, and no one wants to see that. All right, that's all for now, and I'll see you guys next time.